All right, that's a lot of fun. This is a Pedersoli muzzle loading 20 gauge shotgun, but it's not what I'm actually here to talk about today. It's John Hickok, by the way. That's who I am, in case you didn't know. I'm sure you did. I wanted to talk to you about my Tennessee belt axe. Thought it'd be appropriate if I stuck it in my belt. This is a tomahawk axe hatchet. It's not really a hatchet, I guess. More of an axe or a tomahawk, I think would be more appropriate names to call it. That I got at a place in Tennessee called Davy, well, not a place, it was an event called Davy Crockett Days. And I just happened to walk across the table, and this thing was sitting there amongst a bunch of other tomahawks, and it really caught my attention because you don't see them like this very often. Usually you'll see the just kind of the basic run-of-the-mill throwing axes and stuff like that, and this one was obviously special and looked very handmade and everything, and scarfed it up. And then later found out that it was a version of it, not this exact one, was in the movie Jonah Hex, if you guys ever saw that. It's a pretty neat movie. It's kind of a Western, but it's sort of like a comic book kind of movie. You'll definitely recognize the handle. And I was like, oh, that's cool, I've got that same tomahawk. And I went online to try to find another one, just so I could buy another one, and determined that they actually made two of them. This one is the Tennessee belt axe, and the other one was called, I think, the French belt axe or the French trader axe, something like that. And I think that's the one that was in the movie Jonah Hex, and it's a little bit smaller. But then I found out that they didn't sell them anymore, and I couldn't find them anywhere for sale. They had them listed on this website called Crazy Crow Trading Post, which is actually kind of cool. They have a lot of neat stuff over there, a lot of frontier stuff, of course. But couldn't find them anywhere for sale. They were sold out, couldn't find them anywhere. So it became this big mystery, and I've tried to find these things, all scoured the internet looking for one, and never could find it, and eventually just kind of gave up. But I just wanted to bring it out here and show it to you guys because it's one of my favorite cutting implements that I even own. It's so cool. And I don't know all the history on it or anything. It's kind of neat too because I'm from Tennessee, born and raised, of course, and it's called the Tennessee belt axe. But to me, the thing that really struck me about, other than the handle is kind of cool. And this is kind of just here. Let me bring it over here. Take a closer look at it. This is something that you'd see a lot on kind of nicer, more handmade tomahawks and stuff, or you can put one on anything. Basically, the way they make this is they wrap leather or something like that. I think it's always leather, but maybe some other method I'm not aware of. You wrap leather around the handle here where the lighter parts are, and then you put it in the fire, kind of get it charred a little bit, and then I think you further kind of finish it so you kind of get this tiger stripe kind of look, which is pretty neat. And I don't use it as a thrower because of that, because I don't want to mess with the handle and have to make my own or anything like that, which I could do at some point. But this isn't really a throwing axe anyways, and it's part of the reason I like this a lot. As much as I like throwing tomahawks, it's a lot of fun. The beauty of this thing is that it actually has a lot of heft to it. A lot of tomahawks are really, I don't know, kind of thin, especially those pipe hawks, because they actually make some that it's a pipe. You have a bowl up here, and then there's a channel that goes all the way through here, and you smoke out of this end. It's supposed to be some kind of, I don't know, message of duality, I guess, a peace pipe and a war weapon. It's kind of cool, but I've never owned one. But again, they're very thin, and the throwing hawks are very thin and very light, which is good for throwing. But there aren't a lot of really cool looking Native American and frontier era tomahawks that actually have a lot of weight and heft to them. And this thing really is kind of a hybrid in a lot of ways between a hatchet and a traditional tomahawk. And that's my favorite thing about it. I mean, look at the back here. You got this big old giant hammer basically on the back, to hammer stakes or nails or whatever you need to do. Also, you don't have that spike back there to accidentally skewer yourself on, which is kind of cool. But it just puts a lot of weight behind it, and it's a great chopper. I mean, you could take down a small tree with this thing in no time, and I've used this a lot. I mean, this is one of the best hackers that I have. And of course, one nice thing about tomahawks for chopping, you have more leverage because of the long handle versus like a big Bowie knife or something like that. It's just a handy little belt axe. I mean, it's very, very appropriately named. It's a neat little knife. This little nick right here that it got on it actually has this interesting story behind it. When I first got my motorcycle, Harley Davidson, is a 2012 Street Bob, and I had the bright idea to mount this on the side of my motorcycle because I thought it would look cool, and I was right. It looked very cool, but I was afraid that I was going to get in trouble for having it on there or something, so I eventually took it off. But from where it rode on the motorcycle, I think I had it like, how did I have it strapped on there? I can't remember. I had it on there some way where I could get it off and stuff, but it was up, kind of sitting up, resting against one of the bolts, like on the near the muffler, and that's where it caused that little nick right there. But it's just a great little chopper. You know, the only identification mark on it that I know find is this M right here. But the blade has a lot of character. You can see where it's been hammer forged and beat on and everything, and it just really has that handmade feel to it. I'm assuming that it actually is handmade. It looks very handmade, and the fact that I can't find them anywhere for sale definitely tells me that it is. I paid around, I think, 75 or 80 bucks for it or something like that, which is honestly a steal. I mean, this is the kind of thing I would pay, you know, easily 200 bucks or 250 bucks for, because I love this frontier stuff. And growing up out here on the compound in the woods and everything, grew up carrying knives around and tomahawks, various different ones I had over the years that Dad had bought me, or that I bought when I got older and had allowance, or, you know, my own money and stuff. You know, just grew up hacking on stuff, cutting limbs, you know, cutting down dead trees and all those kinds of things. And it's neat when you can have something that has even though this isn't an actual original piece or anything from the 1800s, it's still like, if you went back in time and just handed this to somebody in 1850, you know, they wouldn't think anything about it. They'd be like, okay, it's a tomahawk. So it looks authentic to the best of my knowledge, and there's something kind of neat about that. You know, in 2017, going in the woods and cutting down a tree, and you know, trees haven't changed in the 150 years, you know, so they still work just as good as the modern stuff, and it kind of gives you a little bit of a connection to history, which I think is really cool. But I don't know, just kind of wanted to show you guys that. Again, check out Jonah Hex. It's you can see this. It's a little different. Like I said, the blade is a little bit shorter and fatter, I believe. It's a little bit of a shorter tomahawk, but it looks very much like this, and I'm pretty sure it was made by the same person that made this one. But anyways, just thought I'd let you guys check that out. And I wanted to also, of course, remind you to support the people who support us, like budsgunshop.com. Go check them out if you haven't done that yet. Also, SDI, the Sonoran Desert Institute, if you want to get a career in gunsmithing or a degree in firearms technology, you can go check out their website, sdi.edu. And Federal Ammo. This never runs out of ammo, so we don't need federal ammo for this video, but of course we appreciate them. And if you haven't joined the NRA yet, go down to the link in the description and please do that. But wanted to give you guys a look at one of my favorite frontier weapons that I have. I think it was even in one of the early pumpkin killing episodes, and it's shown up in a few different Hickok 45 videos over the years. But just a really neat tomahawk belt axe, and it's always going to be one that I keep and that will be special. And if I ever find another one, or figure out who the hell made this thing, I'll buy 5 of these things. I love them. They're so neat, and I really want to get the other style too, but like I said, I haven't been able to find where they're available. So if you guys know, let me know, and just don't buy them all up before I get a chance to. But anyways, I appreciate you guys as always, and I'll check you later.